Greetings, viewers, NYC Resistance, and today I'm on 125th Street in Harlem. So I'm driving down Lexington and I come across these 3 NYPD cops that have just stopped this man. So they gave him a ticket, and then next thing you know, I see like the shorter cop that you see standing more in the middle of the block. He motions to the other 2 to go after this guy, so they go after him for a second time. So now they have him up against the wall again. So this is the second stop. You know, with the NYPD, you know, they give you tickets and then they send you to the judge, and then the judge sends you to a cashier's window, at which point you got to put your money under a glass window. You know, because they're nice enough to take credit cards to put you further in debt, is not seen as a robbery or extortion, whereas a criminal just says, you know, stick them up, give me all your money, and you just give it directly to him. You know, with the NYPD, you got to go see the judge and then you see the cashier where you give up your money. So it's basically extortion. You know, we can't get out from under this because they're just flooding our neighborhoods in the name of safety and security, and just, you know, just taking our money. So I'm gonna try to get an interview to find out what happened.
They stopped me for drinking a beer, gave me a ticket, whatever. And then at the same time, the cop pours my beer out. They're telling me, oh, I let the guy drink his beer before, but since you threw out, you know, the ticket in front of my sergeant, and we have to meet a quota, that, you know, we got to give you another one for littering. I'm like, there's like every hour there's like 1,000 people littering. I don't see the cops stopping, you know, random people for littering. So like, what's going on? Like, I didn't understand this situation, but I mean, it's fucked up. I think it's just a profiling thing, but so at the end of the day, it's whatever.
So just to be clear, they gave you a ticket for an open container.
Yeah.
And then you threw the beer out, or you threw the ticket out?
I threw the ticket out, and they said I was littering because, I mean, it's kind of windy. I actually threw it towards the garbage. Yeah. Because I was next to the garbage can, and then they said, oh, now since it fell on the floor, we're gonna give you another one for littering. So they gave you 2 summonses? Yeah, pretty much.
Did the same cop give you both summonses, or did 2 different cops give you summonses?
It was the same cop.
The same cop?
Yeah.
Wow. This goes on every day. They keep putting us in criminal court lines and then wonder why people resort to crime to pay these tickets and summonses.
Exactly. And another thing I'll let them know is that, you know, this is not my first summons for an open bottle. Mm-hmm. And I'm letting them know, if it's legal, then why can't I drink it legally anywhere I want? I bought it where I wanted to buy it at. Why can't I drink it? Yeah. So in other words, if I buy some food and it's legal, then I can't eat it outside? Yeah, so like, I don't understand that. I will never understand that law.
Did you have the beer in a paper bag?
Huh? Yeah, I did.
So how did they know it was a beer if it was in a paper bag?
Because he said he saw it in my hand, and since I try to like hide it behind my nephew or whatever, because my nephew was standing there with me, that I was trying to be slick. And I said, sir, you're the first, you know, cop to actually pour out one of my beers. And he's like, oh, well, I thought you was trying to be slick. You were looking me up and down, and you didn't want to pick up the beer. I said, I wanted to put, you know, get my ID out of my pocket to give to you first, and then I would, you know, pick up the beer and give it to you. So, I mean.
Which cop was that? Describe him.
It was a white cop. That's all I know. He's the first cop to pour out any of my beers.
The little short white cop?
Yes.
Oh, and he was the one that said that you was looking him up and down.
Yeah, and like I was giving him a problem.
And you're not supposed to stare him up and down because you're a slave and he's...
Yeah, I guess.
You're like an inmate and he's the guard.
Oh, I can't do that in front of his sergeant, is what he basically was saying.
Wow.
Because his sergeant, that's all he kept saying. Oh, the sergeant's in the car. You can't do this in front of her and all of this stuff. So, I don't know.
In that van right there?
Yeah, pretty much.
So they're training us to be subservient slaves where we can't even look at them the wrong way.
Yeah, exactly.
Or that's like a criminal offense.
Yeah, that too.
Wow.
If you round it off, that's basically what they're saying. If you look in between the lines.
All right, well, you didn't go through that harassment for nothing. I got it all on tape, and I'm going to post it on my YouTube channel on the NYC Resistance to show the world what we go through on a daily basis. You got a ticket for drinking a beer. Beer is legal to buy in the store.
Exactly.
But the second you step outside and drink it, even if it's in a paper bag, and just looking at the cop the wrong way gave him suspicion to ask you what's inside your paper bag, then that led to a ticket. And then the fact that you threw the ticket in the garbage and missed, now that's another ticket for littering. Got you.
All right.
I really appreciate that.
No problem.
Okay, you take care, man.
All right, peace.
All right.